Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Drew, mate. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Sorry, I'm giving you a heart attack.
Give me a heart attack there. You're an excited man. Tell me what's going?
Have you heard on the news? Blackadder's coming back. Like I oh my God, like one of my
let's. I mean, I don't want to burst any bubbles here because look at that little face. It's a happy little face, but it is coming back. But it is just a special, isn't it? This is a one-off comic relief special.
Yeah,
and
they did a couple of those before, didn't they? And they were brilliant.
Yeah, they were great. They were great. All the Christmas specials and stuff. Yeah. I mean, obviously Baldrick's going to be there.
Yeah.
I got all the rest of it. Cunning plan.
Yeah.
But his cunning plan doesn't include Rowan Atkinson.
What?
Well, Rowan's not doing it.
What?
Yes, as stunned and as disappointed as I am. No, apparently, Rowan Atkinson either is too busy or is not available or possibly too grand. I don't know. But no, he's not doing it. So it is just going to be Baldrick or others. I can imagine people like Hugh Laurie maybe turning up if he's available, or Stephen Fry, or but no.
Mate, if ever there was a way to piss on my fucking cornflakes, honestly,
not me. Blame Rowan.
That serves me right for not.
No, it's not so much Blackadder as Lackadder, mate.
Oh dear. And if we weren't cancelled for swearing, then we're bloody cancelled for bad jokes. Seriously though, so Rowan Atkinson's not doing it.
Apparently, Rowan Atkinson's not doing it. I mean, I don't know any further. I mean, there was some bits come up on social media and blah, and I sort of chased it down because, like you, I was like, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
I don't know how many years since the last series or last time we've seen them, but it would have been brilliant.
Yeah,
but no, Mr. Atkinson, unfortunately.
Wow.
So is it Blackadder then? If it isn't got
no
Blackadder in it,
no.
I mean, in name only, surely,
mate. That this is like a double bluff or something, and that the whole point is that they're saying this so people don't get their hopes up or whatever, and then he is actually there. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But it's a shame, isn't it? Considering it is for charity.
Yeah,
it's comic relief in Boom.
Yeah.
I mean, I tune in and watch that, and I tend not to watch the big fundraising nights like that. I make my charity donation, but I'm no interested in watching people not doing their jobs and trying to be funny.
Yeah, no. Which is ironic, seeing as both you and I spend most Christmases in Panto, which is the epitome of doing a different job and for celebrities.
Well, kind of, but I mean, it's like newsreaders trying to be singers and people like that.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, that's.
I've gone from up here to down here. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
But I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I like. Yeah, there we are. The Blackadder. I mean, Tony Robinson. I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Tony Robinson's great. I think he's brilliant. But
he's great.
If you're doing Blackadder, you do Blackadder. I mean, Rick Mail, for example, has a rather valid excuse for not returning, and God bless him. And unbelievable. He's one of the most talented comic actors of all time, and very sad loss. And so you can understand Blackadder coming back without him because it's kind of unavoidable. But you can't. I mean, it's like I tell you what it's like. Do you remember they tried to remake Fawlty Towers in America?
Well, that kind of is the elephant in the room, isn't it? When we're talking about remakes and reboots.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to mention this because I thought we're bound to come on to it. But they tried to remake Fawlty Towers in America, but they did like a focus group or something with a load of American producers or whatever, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to remake it, but we're going to remove one of the characters because we don't think that character would work in America." Which character do you reckon?
Go on,
Basil Fawlty. Honestly, like that. Yeah. So, but that's what it would be like. Surely doing Blackadder without Blackadder is nothing. I won't.
Well,
I won't speak on.
Yeah.
it. We'll see
But
what-
with the discussion over the past week or so has been a new Faulty Towers or a reboot, whatever reboot means. But I mean, there's going to be characters in that. Well, it's like, what does reboot mean? When I can reboot my computer, you reboot a television series, you're making another series. That's what it means. Fuck off with your reboots. Sorry, it's annoying me. It is. I'm pissed off.
Resurrecting it, isn't it? It's
well, in the case of Faulty Towers, I think it would be resurrecting it because I've been associated it with for many a long year, and the character that I play and love has passed away. We've lost so many of that series. So many of the characters, but I suppose that's why he's Mr. Cleese is setting it somewhere different with with his daughter, which is a little bit like Mammy's Boys. Let's get the family involved.
The premise is that I've not read a huge deal about it, but the premise is that it's an estranged daughter he didn't know he had, as in not John Cleese, of course, actually his daughter, but Basil Fawlty daughter he didn't know about, and they're going into business together in a new hotel or something.
Running a boutique hotel in the Caribbean.
Right.
And it's him dealing with the modern world.
This isn't a way for Mr. Cleese to write off a Caribbean holiday to tax, is it? It's not expensing a holiday.
Well, it's going to be, I don't know, 6, however long it takes to film. It's going to be nice. It's going to be done in the sunshine, isn't it? But I'll come out. I think it's a bad idea.
Okay.
I think it was just the same if they started. It's the same as if they. Arguably one of the finest situation comedies ever. It's Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. If you love it, then you love it to bits. It's like Only Fools and Horses. Like, would they make another one of those? No, leave it alone.
Well, they
nearly did,
didn't they? They did Rock and Chips, which was a prequel.
Yeah. But that was sort of different. Cleese is going for something, another elephant in the room is, obviously when Cleese does anything, is it just to pay the alimony? Well, okay. He's only got a couple of houses left in the world, he had to get rid of, he's living in a London flat. Poor man. And he's got a house somewhere else overseas in the sunshine. My heart bleeds, John, But is it just a platform for him to do this whole sort of anti-wokeism thing as well? Who knows? The premise sounds fine. I think he's getting a lot of stick because of his standpoint on all the political issues, the PC and stuff. He's getting, he's almost handed the press a stick to hit him with in that respect. Yeah, and he is making himself look a little bit of a pillock by, like, shut up, John. Maybe you're 83. You aren't really relevant anymore. You haven't done anything great for a long time, arguably. There's been a few cameos here and there and that, and the other series, what was it? Something like Hold the Sunset. That had a wonderful cast, and I just wanted to, the sun set on it within 5 minutes of it starting. Yeah. Dreadful. You'd have thought John Cleese, Alison Steadman, Peter. There are great actors in that, and it was like, kill me now. This is the worst half hour of my life. Couldn't believe it.
I guess you may have hit on the point there. Money and alimony aside, we know he's quite a bitter old man. You only have to watch his alimony tour to know that he was not shy about saying, this is because I need money because I've been ripped off by my ex-wife or whatever.
He was gently shafted in the courts, but that's no. There's been a lot. There's been a lot of people gently shafted, where money or not, and he makes, as you say, he makes no bones about the fact he needs the money, and you kind of go, okay, you can't. That's honest, but at least do something worthwhile for the money.
But this is what I wonder. I wonder if you've hit the nail on the head by saying he's not been relevant for a long time and he's not made anything great for a long time. Is that part of the reason, and maybe taking it broader than just John Cleese and this Faulty Towers reboot or remake or sequel, prequel, whatever the bloody hell it is? Is it the feeling of, I haven't done anything for ages, I miss getting the plaudits for doing something good?
Well, no, I was going to say I will be. I mean, I seem to be attacking it. If it turns out to be brilliant, I will, on the podcast, whatever, I will eat humble pie. There's no one who wants this to be more brilliant than me, because and a load of huge Faulty Towers fans. I think. I mean, it's got a director. Rob Reiner directed probably one of the funniest films ever in Spinal Tap. And he's directed some great movies. He can be a great director. And Cleese himself said, let's not throw too much criticism of this because it will put Rob Reiner off. And Rob Reiner is probably, someone who could make a good stab at it. I want it to work. It sounds a dreadful idea. Jumping off a cliff with a parachute on your back sounds a dreadful idea, but once you pull it and it opens, you float to the ground. It's the most wonderful feeling. I hope he floats to the ground, and it's brilliant. I really want it to work. I'm just extremely cynical, but I see your point. Yes, I mean there is that thing of not making something for a long time, not being. I mean, and if it, we don't know it, but because he hasn't done anything good. Maybe he's not had the material to do it in. Maybe only he can write something that works for John Cleese. He's not had the material. Maybe he has a lot to say and a lot to offer and a lot comedically to do, It
does. It also brings up the point which I think we've probably mentioned briefly at times and certainly off air have spoken about on a night out with a few beers or whatever, about the lack of creativity in the industry, in the sense that money can often overpower things. It is easier to remake something or to make a sequel to something that already exists and is already successful than it is to create something absolutely brand new. And it is obviously less of a risk to an extent. I mean, as you say, this Faulty Towers remake sequel may not be good. It probably won't be, because how do you follow something so incredible? But it will be watched regardless, because people will either want to know that it's shit, or they'll want to give it a chance, or even younger people who haven't experienced Faulty Towers will go, well, everyone talks about that, the original, like it was incredible. Maybe this will be as well. So it is a surefire way to get views. Does the money then overpower? And Faulty Towers is potentially a bad example because, as we say, there's a lot of stuff about John Cleese always.
Yeah. That aside, though, I mean, is there still something? Do you think that the original? Is there still something to say about the character of John Cleese, Basil Fawlty, that can still be funny? And if Cleese said he's going to place the character, it was 79 was the last episode. A lot of water and a lot of comedy and a lot of time has passed that he could, Basil Fawlty could deal with. I don't know whether giving him a daughter that he didn't know about, that seems totally random to me.
I can't figure out how that's even possible.
Me either.
So we will have to wait and see. But to take that subject a little further and to perhaps give John Cleese a rest, because we have just.
Yes, bless him. Let's hope it works. If Mr. Cleese and anybody,
absolutely,
let's hope it works.
He's incredible. I think he's one of the greatest comedy writers and performers of all time. Not disputing that at all. No. But I think I'm probably on the same side as you here, in that I don't think this is necessarily a good idea, and I hate to say, but I don't think it will work. But we can hope. But taking it further, as said, do we think there is an issue now with creativity, and it is far easier to remake something or to follow something on? I mean, take Disney, for example. They've gone not a very different route, but they've remade lots of the original cartoons into live action, or whatever you want to call them. So you've got Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Jungle Book, Dumbo, various others I think have been redone as well. I can't think of any more off the top of my head at this moment, but they are the same film, essentially, just using different technology. And
do you think that's it though? Yeah, because those were great. They were great cartoons. They were great animations, but they worked for a particular generation. Maybe by bringing it up to date, using modern techniques, using live action stuff. I mean, the stuff in Aladdin was amazing.
Oh, Aladdin, very good point. Yeah.
And and you think that's brought up to date. A new generation gets to appreciate that film, that story, that may not have seen or dismiss the original. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the original Jungle Book was beautiful. I saw the original Jungle Book and it was stunning. I've seen, the live action one. I think it is equally stunning.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's kind of maybe that it's the Pixar stuff, Pixar animation captures kids' imaginations. Children love them.
Yeah.
But if you took them back and said, well, have a watch of this, have a watch of of Dumbo in the Jungle, but they'd be sitting there going, this is a dreadful cartoon.
Do you think so? I see. I find it.
I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons. I mean, I think they might. There's a danger of dismissing those when you don't have to. You don't have to dismiss them. They're beautiful. I don't know how. Maybe we need to grab the children's attention a bit more. I don't know. It's a thought.
I guess neither of us have children, so we haven't got any first-hand experience of knowing if younger generations won't watch the cartoon versions and will only watch the new ones, or they'll treat them in different ways, I guess. But that's certainly one element of this whole kind of scenario, for want of a better word. You then look at things like the straight remakes, and that's a whole ball game in itself. Where So, for example, you're well aware, I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, I am a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I think he's fantastic. His style of acting and comedy was very straightforward. People suggest it's rubbish, but I think there's a tongue-in-cheek nature to it where he played upon that, and he was the epitome of action hero, and he was almost... Yes, acting is not my first skill. I'm here almost because of how I look and my sporting ability. But he took that on board and went with it. And I think he's great. And equally, the publicity stuff I see of him, like and if you follow him on social media, the way he supports people and the way he talks out about issues, he seems like a really genuinely positive person. However, he was in one of my favorite movies, brilliant movie, Total Recall, which they remade, and I can't remember how long after. It was a good 20 years, I would think.
It's got to be about 20 years, yeah.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
In fact, I could probably find it. I've got some lists of various things up, and I'll have a quick look. But so Total Recall. I think the original. Original was 1990 and the remake was 2012. So 22 years on. Now, I cannot speak outright about it because I have refused to watch the remake. Now, that's now 11 years old, which seems ancient anyway. But it may be a good film for someone who's never seen the original. So there may be fans of the original who watched the remake and thought equally as good, better, whatever. But I have such a love for the original that I cannot bring myself to watch. It seems like a shortcut has been taken. Like, this film was great, it was really successful. Well, let's just do it again with new people and we'll make some money. That's how it feels.
It's like doing a play, isn't it? You do a play, it's very successful. The next time you put it on, you get some new people, you get a new take on that play. You do Hamlet thousands of times. You just different actor has a different, I mean, I'm like you with Total Recall. I mean, The Italian Job is one of my favorite films, the original.
Yeah,
I've not seen the remake.
Neither have I.
I know that because to me, and I know there are fantastic actors in it. There are good actors. I like Mark Wahlberg, and they're great, but they bring nothing to the story. No. And modern filmmaking brings nothing to the story that wasn't already there. And there's things that they did back when they made the Italian Job that you because of PC and stuff like that, you can't do now. And you think, it lacks. It's you can throw as much money at it and throw as much action at it as you like, but I mean, you still won't get those minis driving through the sewers, supposedly in Italy. Apparently it was in Croydon, but I mean, you still won't get those. Yeah, apparently it was shot in Croydon, but you still are not. You can't beat that. You're not. You can. You know, what are you going to do? So I sometimes
quite away from all that as well. And this is going to go seriously off topic now, because I'm a big car fan. I hate BMW Minis because it's not mini. It's not small.
Not mini.
A mini was mini. That was the point. It was mini. BMW, if they called it a BMW compact or something, fine, great. Do you know what? They're brilliant cars. I've driven some and they are fantastic to drive. But don't call it a mini. It's a fucking insult. We've got a very angry episode going on here. We've broken and other things. But anyway, no, I agree. I've only ever seen the original Italian Job, and I refuse to watch the new one. Why? Why do you need to?
And then you get to the question. I mean, in some respects, you think of cartoons going to live action remakes. It's like, is there why it comes up in your head? Why are they remaking this? I understand, and we've chatted again off air. We've chatted about sequels of movies, and if you enjoy a movie, and there are all the big franchises. Star Wars franchises, and and they're going before and after, in betweens, prequels, sequels, pre, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're into that, and the Marvel worlds and the DC worlds, I understand, because there are stories to be told, and you can spin off about that character. You're not remaking; you're just following storylines up. It's like Doctor Who and things like that. There are ways of taking these things, and that's why series work, but remakes is why. I always go, why? Well, another fabulous film, Thomas Crown Affair. The original was just beautiful, shot in the most beautiful way. I mean, the split screen when they're playing chess. There's not been a finer moment of filmmaking, in that genre. And then they made. Now I watched the next one, and I go, okay, all right, I quite like this. And they made a different film, complete different style of filming, and they told the story in a different way. And I went, why? But I happen to like Pierce Brosnan, and I thought he brought one of my favorite Bonds. He brought a style and a panache to that film that I didn't think anybody else, I didn't think they could do, and he did it. But the original film was about, it was the characters, it was the affair. The next one, they made that about the heist. And about, and I thought that's a very clever take. I also think Pierce Brosnan is a very, very, very underrated actor. There we go.
So I can play devil's advocate here, because having just said Italian Job, only watch the original, wouldn't watch another one, Total Recall, blah, 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 blah. I've only ever seen the Pierce Brosnan version of the Thomas Crown Affair.
Interesting.
And because of that, I would be very reluctant to watch the original. Steve McQueen, isn't it, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be very reluctant to watch that, because, again, Thomas Crown Affair, the 90s version, is one of my all-time favourite films.
It's a beautiful film.
Phenomenal in it, and the storyline and how it all combines together, and equally the cinematography in that, I think, is superb and very cleverly put together. Now, I'm worried, well, not worried, that's the wrong word, but I fear perhaps that if I watch the original, it might jeopardize my memories and my love of the remake. So it's an intriguing one. Now, you're obviously telling me they're very different films, but everything is personal choice, isn't it? Everything is personal interpretation. For me, it might be like, oh shit, this is exactly the same. Who knows? But it's another one, and actually something that links together both sort of, you're talking about the sequels thing, is the Oceans films. So Oceans 11, Oceans 12, Oceans 13. It's up there with my favorite trilogies of all time. For the record, Back to the Future. I believe Back to the Future is the only trilogy ever made where all three stand up on a line.
On their own, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any other trilogy has ever made three films where all of them are as good as each other. People go, Godfather, no, third one wasn't as good. And then they say, Die Hard, no, second, third one, meh.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, no. Back to the Future is the only, and I will argue it to the day I die. Back to the Future is the only trilogy where all three films are as good.
I've not seen the third one, so I can't argue on that.
Oh, mate.
No.
Anyway, I went off topic.
They didn't.
It's going to be an episode of that, I think. But if you look at the Oceans films, now, Oceans 11, 12, and 13, three of my favourite films of all time. Fantastic cast. And I'm talking, obviously, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, etc., etc. But Oceans 11 is a remake. There was an original Oceans 11. Again, was it Steve McQueen?
It was Sinatra.
No,
it was the Rat Pack.
Yes,
as they were known then.
I'm getting my wires.
Yeah,
crossed.
no, it was Sinatra and the Rat Pack,
Sinatra,
and that was again. I mean, I like the modern Oceans. I love the Clooney Pitt ones. I think they're brilliant, and there are some stunning performance in them. And it was a different. I think the original Oceans was a different film because it was a different way of making films. It was very much about the actors in the film playing the roles. There was two films there. You were watching the story, and then you were watching the actors act, and thinking, well, how many parties did they go to last night before arriving at 6 o'clock on the set? There was talk of those drinks they're drinking, they're real.
Oh god, yeah.
And they're knocking back, they're knocking back martinis and gin and whiskey, on set, and there's that whole, for want of a better word, glamour of that. And that was it, and it was a stunning film. And there was a lot of Rat Pack films that weren't very good, but Oceans just stormed it,
Yeah. So and then that begs the question: how do you feel about Ocean's 8, which is then the remake of the remakes, but with an entirely female cast? And we've talked about things like that before, again, both on the podcast and in person, where we say, look, there are a lot of amazing stories that can be written out. There are a lot of amazing films. Why was there a necessity to take something that was successful and go, right, well, let's hand it off and give it to women? That seems almost insulting. And I am not a woman. I cannot speak for women, and I do not mean to sound like I think I know it all. I don't, and maybe that was a good thing. But I've certainly read accounts from high-profile female actors who have said, no, fuck off. We don't want your handouts. Don't give us James Bond and go, all right, let's see. We've done lots with it. We're bored of it now. Now you go and do it, women. You get Ghostbusters, Men in Black. They've done it with quite a few things, and I can't speak of my own opinion because I haven't watched them. Personal preference, I chose not to, but I've read reviews, and they tend to get and the reviews I've read of the female version of Ghostbusters, the updated version of Men in Black, where the central role is female, and the Ocean's 8, the all-female version of the Ocean's film, they get really bad reviews. That is someone's opinion or multiple people's opinions, but that seems to be the overwhelming feeling of them.
Yeah, if they're saying something new, it's like with any remake. If you're saying something new, if something new is said by a female cast, obviously it's going to be different. Is the female perspective, is the remake necessary? Probably not. Is the female perspective on it needed? We both agree, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because let's see women in control of stuff, but don't remake the film. Let's have or make an Oceans film, make an Oceans 20, and or make an Oceans 9, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Make the female version. Call it an Oceans movie. Set it in Las Vegas, wherever you're going to set it, but give them a fresh story. Make a fresh story for this talent, this female talent that is sitting there. Don't. Like they're saying, we don't need to cast off.
We don't, and actually, I think that goes beyond just saying, "Oh, not for women," but in general.
Absolutely.
But
totally
on the
agree.
flip side, then I could give lots of examples of the opposite. The Tron Legacy, I think, was a good 30 years after the original Tron film. Tron was 80 something, and Tron Legacy was 2014, 2013. So I can't remember, but brilliant. Really, really well done. But they made a point of saying we are now 30 years on or whatever.
Yeah.
It really worked. On the flip side to that, not the biggest fan of the remake of Indiana Jones, or the fourth Indiana Jones. Like I quite like Shia LaBeouf, but was it really Indiana Jones? Well, no. And now they've just announced that the next one's coming this year, I think.
I know, it's
why with the Die Hard films, like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, again, incredible trilogy. Like, it's superb. Now, I know you personally are not a fan of sequels.
I think 1 and 2. I mean, I love Die Hard. It's we all know it's not a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
It's a great film. And if you're going to set the next one at Christmas, I'm sorry, these are now 2 Christmas movies. I think 1 and 2 for me work. The rest, I didn't. It was there's nothing else to say. If a sequel or something has something new to say and says it well. But I think for me, you said it on a high, number 1, high rise building, number 2, aircraft. Those are your 2 massive Jeopardy build, After that, for me, you're scraping the barrel, but that's just me being cynical.
Interesting, because I think the third one's the best one, because I think Samuel L. Jackson is fantastic. But I think it finished nicely. I think you've done the 3, you've done the sort of 3 scenarios, and then we come 15, 20 years down the line and they go, oh, look, he's got kids. Well, we knew he had kids, but why do you have to put it back? And I'm not saying the acting in it wasn't great, because it was still fabulous. And perhaps some of these films would stand on their own, but it's really difficult. I understand that our industry is about money in a big way, and often sequels will look how much money Jurassic World has made. They've made 4 of those movies now, and that was sort of a reboot, but not of Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park 2 and 3 weren't anywhere near as good as the first Jurassic Park.
No,
but actually, Jurassic World, from what I've seen, just keeps getting better. Mission Impossible is still going now with 9 or 10 of those, or whatever it is. Fast and the Furious probably should have stopped a little while ago, but they keep making them, and they keep getting the interest. So you can understand why they do it.
I mean, there's a massive fan base, isn't there? If you can churn out Fast and Furious films, I mean, they're not particularly expensive to make, in the great scheme of things. And there's a fan base that will, they know that the Fast and Furious, 119 comes out, there's still going to be, there's still going to be a fan base, and you know what I mean? It'll cover your cost. You'll cover your costs.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm one of the purists. I've only ever seen the original trilogy of Star Wars. I've never watched any of the others, because
I've never. Well, I've never watched. I can't comment. I've never watched a Star Wars film.
No, you've never watched any of them because you're weird.
No.
And actually, what we should have said at the beginning, if we'd known we were going to go on this massive rant, is that if either of us end up in a film franchise and end up doing lots of remakes and reboots, then we will fully support it, and we absolutely believe that it's the best thing ever, because we want to keep working. Thank you very much. We love you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Other sequels are available.
Yes.
Yeah. No. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I sound cynical about it, and I mean, I'm one of the people. I think the Godfather trilogy is one of my favorite. I think the third film is a good film. It's a different film. It deals with something different than the first 2. It's still, there was still something to say. There was still a button to be put on it. For me, it worked. Not for everyone. I understand why, but I think at the end of the day, like you say, it's about making money and people working. And if somebody offered me a Star Wars movie, I would, bite their arm off to do it, and probably have to spend a week watching every film beforehand. But, if anybody offers me a sequel, I'm not adverse. I'll do them.
No.
But it's a healthy discussion to have, because if you're having the discussion, then we are actively making things better, and making stuff that's, hopefully we think about it. If you think about it, it improves. If we don't talk about things, then we get complacent.
No, exactly. And at the end of the day, we've got to make sequel episodes on a podcast. We've got to keep them coming, and we've got to keep the content coming. And if people don't keep remaking things and doing whatever, then we'll have nothing to talk about. But it's weird, I guess, how far apart is the thought of a series of films with sequels to a series of TV shows which has multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a tiny little thing here. Just it's a tiny little thing. I know we sometimes do a little bit of news and we say about people who have passed away. Little interesting thing I picked up the other day. I read that Lisa Loring. It would be her birthday. Yeah. Now she played. No, I'll tell you what. It would be her birthday tomorrow. She was born on the 16th of February and she died on the 28th of January this year. Lisa Loring played the original Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family series. Yeah, it would be her birthday tomorrow. I forget what year she was born, 47, something like that. But yeah, it would be her. It would be her. But and of course, we all know that Wednesday Addams is storming it at the moment.
Look at that! What a lovely way to tie everything together. Very clever of you, and equally to reveal to the world that it's actually Wednesday that we're recording. Well,
it is this week because I'm not available. Yeah,
because you're buggering off and doing other things. And speaking of doing other things, we're almost at the end of the episode, and I've managed to sneak in a segue. Speaking of doing other things, next week we're going to do something different. We're going to talk to someone who is not us and is not moaning and is not grumpy. We're going to have a fantastic guest on next week.
We are. Yeah, and I mean, we've got something new to say. That's why there's more in this series.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, we're going to bring something new the week after.
Oh, there's something very exciting the week after.
Something very exciting coming. Yeah. So if we haven't put you off by our moaning and negativity and whatever else, no, I'm joking. Debates are there to be had. Discussions are there to be
very
had.
Positive.
And if we didn't have differing views and contrasting opinions, then the world would be a very boring place. But for now, mate, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
We'll take a few days. You go off and do some exciting stuff. I'll see you next week with our next guest. And everyone else, thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.